All right, you guys, I'm going to go ahead and get started. I know that your time is super valuable, and I know some of you guys have seminar courses starting at 5. So I'm hoping to be done no later than 4:45. Hopefully we can get it done in about 15 minutes. That would be hopeful thinking, but we will see how many questions you guys have and if I can answer any of them. My name is Matt Durham, and this is my first year as a National University support provider. So I'm here to tell you that I am still learning. And I told you that in my original email. I'm trying to figure out what the heck is going on. And National University is also trying to figure out what the heck is going on because they just transitioned into Brightspace. Previously, they used Blackboard. And with that transition, there's been a lot of moving parts. So they didn't really give me quite as much of an orientation as I was hoping. But having said that, I've read so much in the last 2 weeks, and that's why we kind of started a little bit later, was because I thought we were going to have an orientation and we didn't. So I was like, all right, we're going to get this thing going just based off of my own knowledge. So I'm going to do the best job I can, trying to make sure I check all the boxes, but I can assure you that I'm going to get you guys, as long as you guys do everything you're supposed to do, I'm going to ensure you that you guys get your completion and you get to move on to the next class. Because as a student teacher or an intern, which we have both of those in here right now, that's what you want. And as I said before, congratulations for teaching that, for choosing teaching as your profession, because I think it's the greatest job in the world. And I love every single moment of it, the good, the bad, the ugly. I've been teaching for 16 years, and every year I learn something new, and every year I do something more creative. And that's the best part about our profession. So you guys already are, number one in my book because you guys chose this same profession as me. So I'm here to support you guys and help you out in terms of using Brightspace and stuff. For you guys, it might be a little bit of a learning curve along with me and along with my superiors too. I've asked questions for people that are above me and they don't know the answer. So we will all work together to try to make sure that we get answers for time crunched, what am I trying to say? Things that are due at a certain time. I want to make sure that you guys are low stress, but still complete it. And that's why I made our first lesson plan due on Wednesday by midnight, because I kind of wanted to light the fire to get things rolling. Either you filmed it today or you're planning on filming it tomorrow or Wednesday. Generally, you have to submit your lesson plan within a 24-hour prior time frame. I'm not going to have you guys do that this time. You can submit your lesson plan along with your video at the same time, due by Wednesday at midnight. So for next video lesson, I would ask that you please submit your complete lesson plan at least 24 hours prior. I'm hoping at this meeting we can hash out some dates that work for you guys for when your second and your third lesson plan are going to be due, because I want you guys to be a part of that process. I always loved that as a student, to help in the process of making the class what I wanted to get out of it. So we have California telling us certain things we have to do. We have National University telling us things we have to do, but then we get to kind of maneuver those things and try to make it the most benefit for all of us. So with no further ado, I want to just talk about, first of all, has anybody not seen the student teacher handbook? Or if you're an intern, have you not kind of skimmed through the intern handbook? Is there anybody here? And it's okay if you tell me, no, I haven't been able to look at it yet. It's okay if you tell me that. All right, Cass, you haven't seen it yet. Debbie, you have not seen it. Nick is in this call, and I'm hoping, Nick, can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm here. I don't know how good my internet's being today, but I'm here.
Okay, I can hear you. Can you tell the students, I'm going to use Nick as kind of like a helpful aid in this class because he went through this program. Was it last semester at the end of the year?
Yeah, I was an intern all last semester, all of the last semester of last year. Yeah.
Okay, so he's pretty familiar with submitting the lesson plans and getting feedback and all that. So anytime you want to step in, Nick, and help the other students, that would be great. So my question to you is on the student bright space, do they access those handbooks via the content? Is there like a little button at the top? From what I understand, there's a button at the top that says course content that they can click on to access that handbook. Is that true?
Yeah, it looks like I'm trying to see where the handbook is, but there is a content tab up at the top that kind of opens up all the modules and stuff.
Okay.
There's a drop down list that's like student resources and university resources, and the handbooks are under there.
Oh, awesome. Thank you so much. Do you guys all see that? Debbie and Cass, can you guys locate that?
Yeah. It's
Sorry,
the
can
first
you
one under
repeat that?
course.
please?
Yeah, can you repeat that one more time?
It's like my computer.
It's the first one under course resources.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so course resources, and then you're going to see the handbook. And if you are a student teacher, you're going to click on the student teacher handbook. And if you are an intern, you're going to click on the intern handbook. So I instructed your SSPs, those are your master teachers, to go over that handbook with you. That's helpful. It's super helpful because it tells you what you're doing and how many lessons you have to do. And it doesn't say any dates. That's what we're going to try to figure out. But it tells you what you need to do with your lesson plans. There is a lesson plan sample that should be in that course resources as well for you guys to look at. So I highly recommend play around with it. That's what I had to do in order to find out how I'm going to be your support university support provider. Is I just started clicking around at stuff that was in there and I'm like, oh, okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. And then of course with Brightspace, I'm going to be posting the due dates, and I'll follow up with announcements through Brightspace so that you guys won't be left behind. And if you do miss an assignment, I will keep on you and try to email you or text you to try to remind you to try to get that in as soon as possible. The key here is that all of my students, none of my students will get grades and get passed until all of my students have completed their coursework. And when I heard that, I was like kind of shocked because I was like, that's not fair. Like if 7 out of 8 of my students are done, I should be able to grade those 7, and then we'll just wait on that last one who's late. But that's not how the portal works. They told me that I can't submit grades until everybody has their stuff in. So for your colleagues that are on this call and the colleagues that weren't able to make this recording, please make sure that you mind the due dates, because everybody's going to be held up as a result of you being a little bit late on one particular assignment or another. Okay. Nick, can you comment on anything about that, or do you have anything to say about that before I move on?
No, I mean, I would say the same thing. I just kind of played around with it and it started to all kind of flow actually quite similarly to Blackboard.
Yeah, very, very similar. And I'm not sure what undergrad programs you guys all went through, but I went to Long Beach State and we had Blackboard, which was called Beachboard, and the migration over to Brightspace is very, very similar. I use Google Classroom in my class, the one that I actually teach, and they're all kind of pretty similar. I kind of expect you guys as college students to just kind of navigate through and try to do it on your own at first, and reach out to me if you have any, minute questions or more details that you need to get answered. So it looks like everybody's good on that. I'm trying to mind the chat, and it looks like Ben skimmed through it. That's good. Debbie, you were able to locate it. That's good. Cass gave a thumbs up. So I'd love to see that. So all good stuff. So we'll talk more about the lesson plan in just a little bit. I want to talk about a document that I'm going to be sending out to you guys tomorrow or tonight. I don't know. It depends on how much homework my kids have. They're in the other room. So I'm going to try to help them with their homework first. And then I'm hopefully going to make a Google form and send that to you either tonight or tomorrow. It's going to be an info sheet. And the info sheet has a whole bunch of information about who your master teacher is, where your site is. The most important, you got to fill it all out, but the most important part about that info sheet is National University wants to see that you are in a diverse school setting. So when it says how many Caucasian kids you have, give me a rough estimate of you and your master teacher's schedule, about how many are in the class, how many would you come across, and hopefully it's at least one. That's really what they're looking for, is at least one. I know it's kind of hard to access all of that diversity information, but please talk with your master teacher about it, and it's okay to just estimate. And you can say, like, I think we have like 6 Pacific Islanders. Just go ahead and throw a number down, but hopefully it's not a round number. Don't give it a 0 because they might say, ooh, you're not diverse enough. You need to go into another classroom. Hopefully there are some numbers there that show EL learners, Hispanics, Caucasians, African Americans. They definitely want to see all that diversity. So keep an eye out for that Google form, and then I'll enter it. And then once I enter it, then I send it over, and then that makes you officially on to the next step. Okay. So any questions about that info sheet? All right. Sounds good. So your first lesson is due on Wednesday by midnight. Like I said earlier, you are probably going to record that tomorrow morning, I would presume, or tomorrow afternoon, or on Wednesday. Those are really your only choices unless you recorded it today. Please make sure that the audio works. Please make sure the video is good enough quality that I could see you and kind of what you're doing. Make sure that your lesson plan follows the template that is on there. I believe that would be under course resources as well. There's a lot of hyperlinks, and when you are looking at the handbook, it kind of gives you some ideas of kind of what you're looking for, or what we're looking for when we are looking at your lesson plan. I want you to link the TPEs starting with this lesson plan. And I know that this lesson plan, because you have such a short window, it's probably not going to be your best one. In fact, I don't want it to be your best one. I want to be able to say a lot about how to improve, because that looks way better in your submission. It looks really good when you suck at first and then you kind of get better, and then you're like really good at the end. So it's okay to suck for Wednesday's lesson plan. Do the best you can with how much time you have, but just put something out there. Try to link as many TPEs as you can, but don't spend night and day working on this first lesson plan, because we kind of need to like baby step into it and see how Go React works. That's the portal that they use to record, and it's pretty straightforward. You shouldn't have any problem with the Go React system of uploading your video or filming right from Go React. once you kind of play around with your Brightspace page, you'll be able to see Do React, and you can kind of play with it a little bit within Brightspace. I know it's a lot of information, and I hope I'm not overwhelming you, but once we get started and you kind of like see the motion of this first lesson plan, you're going to make annotations. And the annotations are really easy to do as well. In the annotations of your lesson, that's after you film it, you are going to annotate, and you'll be able to put in little, I think it's like little thought bubbles or something, and you'll be able to click on it and say, here is when I did this, and I did that because blah, 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 blah. So tell me why you did certain things at certain parts of the lesson. And generally those annotations have to be linked with the TPEs. And, if you're drawing on past content, what did the student know from last year? You can write in there TPE 4. And you could say, I did a diagnostic test to see how much they knew from last year or the year before in biology. And I wanted to see kind of where they were at now. So tapping into prior knowledge is one of the TPEs. And then you'll say, I did the diagnostic test because I wanted to see what their prior knowledge was, which is stated in TPE-4. So that's kind of what they're looking for in the annotations. According to the handbook, it says that they want 10 annotations per 30 minutes. And you'll read that in the handbook when you go through it, 10 annotations per 30 minutes. So that means try to link 10 TPEs during those 10 annotations every 30 minutes. I don't think that you're going to have a 60-minute video, but if you did, then you would have to have 20 annotations. For my sake, I would like a 30 to 40-minute video because I have to look at all of them and grade all of them and then give feedback on all of them. And I teach my own classes and I have a family, so I'm trying to fit in as much as I can times 8 students. If it's more than 40 minutes, I'll just have to stop it and I won't be able to grade the rest of it. And that's kind of how the Cal TPAs go as well. And when you submit to CTC, they kind of have the same rules too. They're pretty stringent on that time allotment. If you do submit a 100-minute video this time, that's okay. It's just our first time. I don't expect you to edit during this one, but just for next time, submit your lesson plans within 24 hours and annotate 10 annotations every 30 minutes. So at least get 10 for this first lesson plan. You're going to do 3 of these by October 15th. So what questions you guys have regarding the lesson plan format or the lesson plan video submissions, if any? You may not have any right now at this point. All right.
So the video, the lesson plan video that we turned in for this course is different than the one we turn in for our seminar, right? And we can't
It's supposed to be.
lessons.
Yeah, it's supposed to be different. They told me to make sure to tell you guys that it's supposed to be different. Because this lesson plan is such a small window, I'm going to let you guys double dip just this one time. And if you already have a lesson plan that's recorded and you want to use that for your first lesson, you can. But from here on out, after lesson 1, you have to do different recordings for seminar course compared to this course.
Okay.
Good question.
No,
Debbie.
the reason I was asking was because remember yesterday when I asked you about the question when I mentioned that I just got in the classroom on Thursday. So
Yeah.
I'm trying to get I still haven't turned in my lesson for the other classroom. I think for the seminar, I think this week we're supposed to turn in the lesson plan. So I'm still in the assignment of getting to know your student. I'm trying to get that one out of the way. That's all I was asking to see. I kind of had an idea that they were supposed to be different lessons, but
Yeah.
Just for this one time.
Yeah, I definitely want to make your life as easy as I can make it. And if I can, allow you to double dip on this first one, I'm going to go for it. So definitely. And then Cass had a question. Oh, is that it, Debbie?
Yeah, and then the date that you told me on our text message, that's the date that I will have to turn in my lesson, correct?
Yes.
In my video.
Yes.
Okay.
And then Cass, because
Matt,
it's
I have the same question as Cassidy.
okay.
So I'm testing on tomorrow and Wednesday. Is it okay if I record my lesson on Thursday?
Yeah, that will be fine. Cass, you're okay as well. Just do it as soon as possible. Saad is at a conference in Sacramento, and so he's out of the classroom. So with me making our first due date Wednesday night at midnight, I'm trying to get as many students to turn theirs in as soon as possible. That way, anybody else that has any other extenuating circumstances, I can make allotments for that. The problem with doing that, I mean, it's not a problem. It's just, this is how it's going to be, is when you push lesson plan 1 back, it's going to bring lesson plan 2 much closer. And I kind of want to create as much space as we can, but I understand things come up in your classes and you're not able to. So I'm totally willing to accept late submissions as long as you let me know why. And a testing week is a perfect excuse. And Saad being in Sacramento for a school conference, perfect excuse. Just let me know what's going on and communicate with me, just like you want your students to communicate with you what's going on in their lives and why they need to get their stuff in on time. Do the same with me. I'd really appreciate that. And let your SSPs know as well, the master teachers, because they can help you and kind of like encourage you, or try to make things a lot easier too. They're there to support you as well. So good stuff. Yeah, just get it in as soon as possible.
So Matt,
keep me updated.
On that note,
Thank you.
On that note, Matt, because I totally understand that, because they really have they have reasonings behind why they can't turn in their lesson plans.
Yeah.
Is it, since I haven't done the getting to know your students assignment, because technically I don't really know the students, but for a lesson plan, you really don't really need to personally know the students. So I could try to, I'll talk to my master teacher tomorrow and see if I could start working on the lesson plan tomorrow. I'll just use the template.
Okay.
I could always send you my lesson plan first and then just do the recording next week.
Okay.
If that's okay. So that way you can kind of see it ahead of time.
Yeah, that'd be
'cause
helpful.
I don't want to put like so much work on you.
Yeah, no, that would be
Okay.
helpful. Yeah, the more that you can get to me the earlier is the better, because I want to make sure that I don't put off
Okay.
too much towards the end, because then I won't be able to, if I'm being pulled in 8 different directions in that last week, I'm only going to be able to give you each like 9 minutes of my time. And I don't want to do that. I want to be able to give you guys even amounts of time throughout the semester to try to help you as much as I can. So, yeah, that's what teaching
Yeah,
is
that totally makes sense. So I'll try to get it in sometime sometime this week. So that way, at least I'll just do my recording like Monday or Tuesday. Yeah. So we've both been talking about it since I got in the classroom like last minute. He's like, we'll figure this out. He's like, we'll get you through this, but
Yeah.
it's like everything's piling on. So that like, I'm really stressed out about the seminar class. And then I
Yeah.
noticed that we had this class too. And I was like, wait, how am I supposed to
I
finish all these
know, it's
assignments?
like so much on you at once, and then pretty soon it's gonna fly by and you guys are all gonna be through this. So just try to breathe.
I know, that's true. That's not December is like around the corner.
Yeah, it'll come so fast. You guys will blink and then it'll be over, and then you guys are gonna have a job, and it's all worth it. It's all worth it in the end. Nick, were you gonna share something, or somebody else?
Thank you.
Yeah.
No, you nailed it. I think and Cass, I'm gonna do the same thing, but if you already have or if you already know what lesson you're doing and you can write the lesson plan ahead of time, so all you have to do is film and turn in the video, that's probably a good idea, especially while they're testing. I mean, I don't know what else, that's always downtime. So take advantage.
That's a great suggestion. Thank you so much. Yeah, anytime you want to chime in and say, hey, I recommend doing this, let each other know. So you guys, we're a family, and we definitely want to get the best out of our students, and we want to get the best out of each other. So that's really, really a good thing. So I guess the only thing that I have left is to ask, do you guys want to set dates for when lesson plan 2 and lesson plan 3 are going to be due? Or do you want to just try to focus on this first one, and then we'll talk about lesson plan 2 like next week or something? Like, how are you guys feeling? What do you think?
Is lesson plan 2 something that's going to be like next week, or is it like a couple weeks from now? Like, can you ballpark the time frame you're looking at?
Yeah, sure, no problem. Okay, so theoretically, they told us that this class was supposed to start August 16th. And you guys weren't even loaded into my Brightspace until I think it was August 29th or something like that. So like theoretically, we are on our 5th week of this class out of 9 weeks. So we're like halfway through, and we have to do 3 lesson plans. So I would recommend doing the second lesson plan somewhere around September 27th. If you guys want to look at your calendars, if you want to look at your phones, if you look at September 27th, 28th. Okay, everybody's kind of saying maybe focus on this one, and then like
Yeah.
try to get through the first hump, and then
Yeah.
I was looking at my calendar, and maybe this is just I'm speaking to the class, everyone. So maybe it would kind of help if we do it the 27th, just because it's like right after a weekend. So like we'll have the weekend to like work on it and polish our lesson plans, and then if we turn it in that Tuesday, we could work on our lesson plans maybe like Saturday, Sunday, and then we could record it on the 27th, which is Monday. And then we'll talk about the third one some other day, because that's gonna like super.
The third one
lesson
will
plan
be
3. I don't even want to talk about that one yet.
well, by then, Debbie, you're gonna be much better at it. Like you're gonna get feedback. You're gonna know how to video it and everything. During that 9th week, I'll probably have it due on that Monday of that 9th week, which is October like 11th. That's probably when the 3rd lesson plan will be due. So why don't we could just pencil in possibly September 27th, just to kind of like put it on the calendar, just to kind of like maybe, and then we can adjust as we see fit, depending on how everybody does with this first lesson plan. So I'm going to just kind of pencil that in for the 28th, which is that Tuesday. Okay, cool. Yeah. Thank you for typing that in, Debbie. And then we'll say tentatively the 12th, October 12th will be lesson plan number 3, or the week of the 11th, exactly. Yeah. So good. So I hope I didn't stress anybody out. They wanted me to do an individualized meeting with everybody, and I was like, if I did individualized, I probably wouldn't get to all of you guys for another week, and I didn't want that much time to go by. So that's why I was like, you know what? I'm just going to call a quick meeting. Anybody that can come can come. I'm recording this meeting so I could put that on our Brightspace, and anybody that wasn't able to come can still get this information. So just keep doing what you guys are doing. I know your master teachers are really excited to have you guys. Remember, this is basically a 18-week job interview for you guys. And if you guys do a really good job at your site, there's a really good chance that they can hire you out of this. Or networking is huge. They can tell somebody else, and then they will be able to get you a job. So be as professional as you can, show up on time, do what you got to do to manage your seminar class, this class, student teaching, and then your social life too. Like, remember to get out there and exercise. Remember to spend time with your loved ones, because that's just as important as you trying to get to your career. Like, you got to be able to time manage as best you can. And it won't stop for the rest of your career, because that's what I'm doing right now, juggling. So any other questions or comments or suggestions or anything like that? Feel free to type in the chat or share. You don't have to raise your hand or anything.
I wanted to ask Nick, since you already been in this class before, how do we record our lesson plans? Because that's the part that I'm kind of nervous about.
So last year I was recording on Zoom and turning them in that way. I haven't totally figured out how I'm going to do it yet this week, but I have an iPad. I was thinking about just setting that up in the room at the best angle where it can see everybody. Or you could do that with your phone too. And then you can upload that into Go React and it will like allow you to annotate it from there.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Awesome. Thanks, Nick. Any other questions you guys have? All right, you guys, thank you so much. It's great meeting you. I look forward to seeing you guys teach in your classes. This is really exciting for me. I've always wanted to help aspiring teachers down the line, and I finally get to do that as part of my career to help you guys, because I know that you guys are going to be able to influence so many more students down the line in the future. So I'm super excited. Let me know through email or text how I can help you guys. But good luck this year. Be looking for that Google form and start working on your lessons plans as soon as possible. And I can't wait to see your videos. All right. Bye, you guys.
Thanks, Matt.
Night,
Have a good one.
everyone. Good. Well, good evening, everyone. Bye.
Bye.